abortion.
I would get us the fetus and send it back to Jesus.
Does the man
expeditiously?
Does the man whose semen fertilized that egg to be a baby, or a boy, or a girl, does he have say in the woman terminating a pregnancy? And if there is, because there's lots of spectrums to things. Maybe he has some of a say, but given the fact that there is no baby without him, does he have a say? How much say does he have? In what circumstances?
I'll have the birth worker here, doula.
Dr.
The
doula?
Go ahead and
Doula, oblongata.
When you're talking about does he have say, like, yeah, can he speak up? Can he say how it makes him? Can he say how it makes him? Can he say how it makes him feel? Can he say what he would prefer to come out of the situation? Absolutely. Does his say determine the deciding factor of what that individual does with their body? No. And at the end of the day, when you are going into having intercourse with somebody, y'all both know the potential consequences of what is to happen. And if you choose not to discuss that beforehand, then those are the consequences you deal with, and no one is allowed to dictate each other's choices.
I don't even think it's a discussion, honestly, because we are in a place where we can change our mind.
Correct.
So it's like, if you don't believe in abortion and you don't want kids, wrap it the fuck up.
Yeah, we shouldn't be having sex then.
Or we shouldn't be having sex.
It is that simple.
Because accidents happen.
It is that simple.
On top of that, and I don't know if this is like an attack on manhood or something.
Let's do it.
But it's like, it's this force of, oh, well, just get on birth control. Why? So you could shoot up the club while I be poisoned? Nah.
And birth control is not healthy for women.
Why don't you get a vasectomy? It's reversible.
It can be reversed.
It sounds terrible.
Because it can be reversed.
Listen, but here's
something
the
that IUD. What's that in your arm?
Do you know what it's like to be on birth control?
No,
you're used to it. You know what it's like to have your hormones fucked with.
Used to it.
Here's the facts.
Before you lay out the facts for him,
before you lay out the facts for him, we real fertile over here. You don't want a baby? Don't mess with me. We real fertile over here.
Time to roast Tata. Say Tata to Tata.
And we keep ours, so you better leave me alone.
Tata, what you just said, what did you say about it sounds what?
That sounds terrible.
It sounds terrible, right? So when you don't know it's terrible, you haven't experienced.
No, I don't want to.
You don't want to
know.
Wait, exactly. And the thing about it is, when you say
that's a damn lie.
The doula said, when you say that it sounds
lie.
terrible, I just hear that you're uneducated about the process, and it sounds scary for you. And
or that
vasectomy. Yes. So when you say that, that's what I'm hearing. You're not saying that because those aren't the words that you're using. But to say it sounds terrible without doing any research, and then turn around to tell a woman, oh, just because this sounds terrible, do this instead. That's selfish as fuck.
Well, wait a second. One is an invasive surgery, right? Vasectomy, that's what that is. And then one is also a pill.
Vasectomy is not an invasive surgery.
Vasectomy is not?
No.
Again, it takes 30 minutes. It takes 30 minutes.
I'm about to. Because I'm about to go ham. Because
I just want to, before you educate him though, I want to know, why can't you take the time to educate yourself?
That part.
There's simpler options.
Right.
A condom is cool.
There's simpler options at somebody else's expense.
A condom?
Right, but again, that's not what we're talking about.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't even know how to properly use those.
Let's stay on topic.
Okay.
Let's stay on topic.
Yeah.
And so that being said, again, why won't you educate yourself? Because you just said it's simpler just to ask, but that's happening at her expense. And your phone is right there. And you're cognizant of that, and yet you're choosing to still ask instead of educate yourself.
I think one is a pill, right?
But again, why are you asking us?
Is it just a pill to you? It's just a pill to you?
For me,
But look it up.
So here's the reality.
Let's do it.
Take a shot.
Don't need that.
And then pass the mic to Rose Tata.
Here's the reality. Okay. There are many different options of contraceptive, and a lot of the contraceptive, if not mostly always fall on women. And a lot of people do not look into the side effects and the long-term effects of the medications that we are being put on as teenagers. Because remember, a lot of birth control, we're going to start with birth control. A lot of birth control is not just to avoid getting pregnant. You've got young women or young ladies coming into their womanhood when they get their periods. They deal with endometriosis. They deal with PCOS, complications with their periods and things like that. And the only way to handle them, and I put those in quotations because
that's what they say.
That's what they say.
They told me that
they make money.
They told me that too.
And pharmaceutical, and the pharmaceutical business is $1 billion fucking business.
There are
okay?
herbs that cure everything.
The first thing that they want to do is put young women and just women in general, anybody that identifies as a woman or has a uterus, on birth control. Birth control. And not only do I know this by facts and research that you should be doing as well, especially if you're fucking women.
Oh, okay.
This is also
Look
experience.
Tell them in America. Africa.
This
Europe,
is also
Asia?
experience. Some of the side effects of birth control are increased. I do. I took that shot and shouldn't have. Emotional distress. So like extreme depression, extreme anxiety. We tend to grow like little things that people may not think is serious, like facial hair and things like that. But they also do develop in infertility. So when women do eventually want to have children, now they are dealing with the complications of having children because they've been on birth control for so long.
Your doctor will tell you after a certain point, like at least if you've been on it maybe 10 years, because it goes by if you were like in college into your woman years, they're like, yo, get off it. And predominantly a lot of women who get off it,
it's too late.
Immediately end up pregnant within the first 6 months of that.
Or it's too late.
This is off of the pill.
This is off of the pill. Because I had Depo and I got off at 19 when I was able to speak for myself because my mother put it on thinking that I was having sex and I wasn't.
Right.
And once you're able to do for yourself, I was like, get this shit, stop doing this immediately.
But also a lot of people don't know that birth control has a weight limit. So when you're taking, so if you are over 150 pounds and wonder why you keep getting pregnant every time you're on birth control, it's because it's not effective for your body.
I've heard women still getting pregnant on birth control.
Yeah,
so don't think birth control. They still get married couples who thought they were done are still having babies on birth control. Upset.
A lot of them are over the weight limit. A lot of birth control still affects estrogen production. There's so many things that happen.
You better watch out.
The IUD creates damage.
Just put it in the air.
The IUD creates damage to your uterine lining, to your cervix.
All of that.
No, that goes in.
It's wild. That's
he
a lot.
Fucks women.
That's a lot too.
And he fucks women. Jesus fucking Christ.
I know.
Can I just say something also?
We're educating tonight, ladies.
Can I just say something real quick?
One second.
Can we
Wait.
Yeah.
Y'all let him put his dick in you?
I also want to say, Tata, do your research. But another thing that needs to be noted is that a man's hormone cycle is 24 hours. A woman is around 28 to 34 days. Now think of if you've and then another thing that aggravates me a lot that men will do is if you show them any type of like, oh she must be on her period. That's dismissive as fuck. And I don't think it's noted like while y'all have a hormone cycle of 24 hours where you could wake up feel energized, blah blah blah, down and come back up. Imagine that. Imagine a hormone cycle that lasts 28 days. The various emotions, the different feelings physically, and especially being on birth control.
Like week to week, the emotions change.
The emotions and how your body feels.
But when you say a male cycle lasts, like you said,
a man's hormone cycle lasts 24 hours.
Hormonal cycle is 24 hours.
Okay. Now I can't really get you guys on camera, but have you ever felt that 24 hours of your hormone cycle?
That's not.
But that's not a question you ask. That's not
this
something.
Is one of those do not direct any questions outside of here.
Just look it up.
To educate yourself.
When people say that the argument of the idea of like say a woman's period cycle affects their mood is because that also comes with cramps. That also comes with bleeding. That also comes with this. But that's also things that like make you uncomfortable throughout the day that will affect your mood.
A woman's period cycle comes with hormonal changes. And that's a chemical imbalance.
28 days.
So
think about how many weeks
you can see, but for a male, it's like
how often
y'all don't. You guys.
So like when do they know? Because I'm like when
was
do they know
going
they're going through a hormonal cycle?
But
no,
it's not about knowing that men go through hormonal cycles. It's having an understanding that women's hormonal cycles are not like men. So you guys can be up, down, and then up again in 24 hours. It doesn't work that way for us. It doesn't work that way for us. And then when we have the discussion of periods, it's like, oh, you're just overly emotional because you're on your period. Be that as it may, nigga, if you know that, get it the fuck together. Get it the fuck together. Period, if you already know that. This is something that is...
A lot of times they say that we don't even be on our periods.
Imbalance.
You know what I'm saying? You're like, I'm not.
It's lack of educating yourself. It's lack of educating.
Talk about that subject.
Let me just finish this real quick because we went into that conversation
Tear him apart.
Of vasectomy. So we have this. We just had a quick little synopsis of birth control. Cool. Okay. Then we got the surgeries. There's 2 surgeries between men and female. That's a hysterectomy and a vasectomy. If a woman has a hysterectomy, that's it. There's no reversal. There's no put my uterus back.
It's a wrap.
That's it. It's a one and done deal. And then on top of that, what a lot of
that is an invasive surgery.
And that is an invasive surgery. That takes not only does that take hours, but that takes a longer recovery time. And then our hormones are now switching into menopause. Yep. And so when these young women are getting, and they're not even being educated about the possibility because they don't want children. If they don't want children, they're not being educated in the possibility of a partial hysterectomy, which means that they can still be able to keep their ovaries in the fallopian tubes, but they just take out the uterus. They're not being educated about that, so that way they don't go through menopause. So these women are opting out to full hysterectomies, going through menopause at such an early age, where you can literally get a snip in the fucking tube.
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
And it can be
30
reversed.
minute surgery. Yeah. And if you say, you know what, a year or 2 later, you talk to your PCP and you say, you know, I am ready to have children. They can go run whatever test that they need to run, reattach your shit, and you can go out and still have many babies in the world.
You can still have children off a hysterectomy.
It's that easy for y'all. And instead of educating, like, you know, I don't want to shit on you, but I'm about to.
Please do. Please do. It's about time.
And it's not really geared towards you, but this is really more so a generalized conversation. When men choose to not educate themselves on sexual education, y'all fall into this place where y'all leave full responsibility on women,
the woman,
when it comes to reproduction. And so now it's always that question of, well, he said he didn't want it. Yeah, he might have said he didn't want it, but he put that raw dick up in me, and we all know you only get 1 or 2 things with raw dick, or raw coochie. You either get a disease or you get a baby. So you could not have not wanted a baby that seriously. And I know men, and I've had casual encounters with, and to be honest, this is usually with older men who have had vasectomy, so I don't have those issues. Me personally, I am a firm believer in abortion. Like I said earlier, I would uterus to fetus and send it back to Jesus. I don't got time for the bullshit. But there are other women who don't believe that. There are other women that's like, okay, well, this life is growing inside of me, and I never thought this was a possibility, or it goes against my religion, or goes against my beliefs, or goes against whatever it is that I feel, and I'm not going to terminate this pregnancy. And now y'all are like, well, I'm not going to take care of it. No, you have to. And you have to because you could have protected yourself. You are responsible for your own genitalia. Whether she says yes in that moment or not, you're responsible for your own genitalia. Put on a condom or get a fucking vasectomy or don't fuck.
I feel like there should be a cap to as how many abortions a woman should have, especially if it's not some incidental situation that was forced onto her. There's no way in hell that we can just be having them all willy-nilly and also being irresponsible with men and just killing babies. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that there should be a cap. And the only reason why I don't
somebody can have 100 abortions.
Bitch,
I think you know what it is.
Until when?
You need to no. Wait. I think
but when does she need to change because she's doing too much?
But I think we're talking about something different. Wait. Let me finish.
On her.
Wait, let me finish.
But when is she doing too much?
I think that we're talking about.
Is that
something.
a normal thing?
What is normal?
No, meaning like. It should it no not is
wait.
Should it be normalized to just have abortions whenever the hell you feel like
Your
it?
Your doctor already tells you that abortions is not
physically,
a contraceptive method. Yep. Your doctor already tells you that. If you go and you get tested regularly, if you're seeing your PCP regularly, your OBGYN regularly, they tell you that abortions and Plan B is not a contraceptive method. So you have to be responsible for self. But if you know that you are not in a position to be a parent, have as many fucking abortions as you fucking need to.
Have as many condoms in your drawer.
Absolutely.
As you supposed to.
We cannot,
you know what I'm saying?
You cannot